In the bustling city of Buenos Aires, on a chilly night in October 1999, a story began that would ripple quietly through the years, woven with longing, mystery, and the enduring power of love. It started with a little girl named Camila, found alone on a night bus as the city slept. She was just 6 years old, bundled in a worn coat, her small arms wrapped tightly around a doll whose face had been scribbled over with pen. When the bus reached its final stop, Camila did not get off. The driver, concerned, called the police. When they arrived, Camila was awake, her eyes wide and watchful, but she did not speak. Instead, she handed over a crumpled note. The words, written in a hurried hand, read, "Take care of her. Her name is Camila." There was no signature. The paper bore the faint marks of tears, as if someone had cried over it before letting it go. That night, Camila was taken to a children's shelter in the city. For weeks, she remained silent. Loud noises startled her, and she clung fiercely to her doll, refusing to let anyone touch it. Social workers tried to piece together her story, but there were no missing persons reports matching her name, no anxious relatives searching for a lost child. With no clues to her past, the authorities registered her simply as Camila Unknown, and she became a ward of the state. Gradually, Camila began to open up, offering fragments of her world. She spoke of a dog named Pancho, a woman who smelled of lavender, and a blue window framed by yellow curtains. To the adults around her, these details seemed almost fantastical, but for Camila, they were the only pieces of home she had left. For 2 years, she lived in the shelter, a quiet child with watchful eyes, always seeming to wait for something or someone. In 2001, hope arrived in the form of Clara and Ernesto, a childless couple who worked in education. They promised to honor Camila's silence, to let her share her story when she was ready. Their home was small but warm, filled with books and plants. Slowly, Camila began to smile again. She excelled in school, devoured stories, and filled her drawings with blue windows. Love surrounded her, yet the mystery of her origins lingered, a quiet ache that never quite faded. Clara and Ernesto told her what little they knew. She had been found alone, with a note and a doll. But the emptiness inside Camila grew as she did. She dreamed of lullabies, sung in Spanish with a strange accent, of a dirt road stretching into the distance and a rusted iron gate. She began to write these dreams in a notebook, searching for meaning in the shadows of her memory. By the time she was 14, Camila was determined to find answers. She spent hours in libraries and online forums searching for any trace of a missing child named Camila from 1999. But her search yielded nothing. No one seemed to know the girl with the scribbled doll and the haunted eyes. Then one afternoon, she stumbled upon a South American adoption forum. There, a user recounted the vague story of a girl left at an improvised orphanage near the Argentine-Paraguayan border. The description was hazy, but one detail leapt out. The girl had a doll with a face scribbled over in pen. Camila's heart pounded. It was the same as hers. Her search intensified. With Clara's help, she contacted former shelter workers, scoured public records, and reached out to local journalists. In an old newspaper from 1999, she found a small note about an anonymous tip. A woman had left a child on a bus and fled toward the train terminal. There were no cameras, No witnesses. The article mentioned just one name, Maria L., as a possible informant. That name haunted Camila. Who was Maria L.? Why would she abandon a child? Or had she tried to save her? For years, Camila searched for clues. She learned to navigate old civil records and, by chance, discovered an address linked to Maria L., a village called Paso de los Libres, near the Brazilian border. At 19, Camila made the journey to Paso de los Libres, carrying her restored, but still marked, doll. The village was small and quiet, the kind of place where everyone knew each other's stories. In a bakery, she showed her doll to an elderly woman and asked if she had ever seen one like it. The woman studied the doll, then nodded slowly. She remembered a foreign woman in the 1990s who always carried a similar doll, a woman who kept to herself. The woman told Camila that this mysterious lady had lived in a simple house by the river, but had vanished years ago. Her name, she said, was Maria Lucia. Camila made her way to the house, now abandoned, its windows broken. Inside, among dusty boxes, she found a letter, unfinished and written in shaky handwriting. She will have a better life if they find me. Tell them it was my choice, that I loved her. The rest of the letter was stained, unreadable. For a long moment, Camila stood frozen, the handwriting strangely familiar. She took the letter, photographed the empty house, and returned to Buenos Aires with more questions than answers. When she showed the letter to Clara and Ernesto, they held her in silent support. For the first time, the past felt close enough to touch, even if it hurt. Camila dug deeper, searching medical and historical records from the region. In an old hospital log from 1999, she found a record of Maria Lucia Fernandez, admitted with severe anxiety. The notes mentioned that Maria spoke of a child, though there was no confirmation of any relationship. The admission had occurred just days after Camila was found on the bus. There was no definitive proof, but the threads all pointed to Maria Lucia as the woman who had left her behind. Camila believed she was her mother, or at least someone who had loved her deeply. The reasons for her actions remained a mystery, but the note, the letter, and the doll all spoke of desperation and love, not abandonment. At 22, Camila returned to the abandoned house with a camera, determined to document her journey. She shared her story online, and soon a woman from the village contacted her. She remembered Maria Lucia from 1998, a woman who lived in fear, who spoke little, and who always said she was running from someone. No one knew who. The woman shared one last, crucial detail. Maria wore a small medallion engraved with the letter C, which she kissed before sleeping. She lost it when she left in a hurry. Camila's breath caught. Among her childhood treasures, she had always kept a chain with a letter C found with her doll. She had never understood its meaning until now. This was the confirmation Camila needed. Maria Lucia was her mother, a woman who had loved her, but who had been forced to make an impossible choice. Camila felt no anger, only relief. After years of silence and absence, she finally understood. She had not been forgotten. Camila began to write her story, turning her dreams and discoveries into a book. She taught children in vulnerable situations, using her journey to inspire hope and compassion. She never found out what happened to Maria Lucia. Her mother had vanished, leaving only traces behind. But those traces were enough. Camila knew the essential truth. She had been loved deeply. Today, Camila lives in Buenos Aires with Clara and Ernesto, her steadfast family. She keeps her restored doll on a shelf and the unfinished letter as a reminder. The pain of abandonment never disappears entirely, but understanding transforms wounds into scars, and scars tell stories of survival. Camila learned that the truth does not always come whole, but fragments of love can be enough to rebuild a life. She may never know where Maria Lucia is, but she knows what matters most. Someone fought for her, even in silence. Her journey is a testament to the strength of the human spirit, the enduring impact of love, and the hope that, even in the face of uncertainty, we can find our way home.